All right, what's up? And
Hey, Thea.
Really doing it.
Shit.
Ah!
welcome to week 39 of the Manga Club. Manga Club. Welcome.
How did he
Good
get
Take,
there?
good take.
I just hope he doesn't come down here.
I mean, yeah, that'd be like 3 levels of the house.
I really hope he doesn't come down.
For this week's episode, because it's the end of January, we got a special episode. God, it's actually, I'm out of breath. Holy shit, I've never ran in like all of COVID. For this week's episode, we got a special announcement that we have started a podcast that'll be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts, except YouTube. We're going to keep it off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between the Manga Club you're watching now and the podcasts? The podcasts are very short form and focus on, oh my God, can someone else do this? And focus on the manga stories and our general feeling around the manga itself. Whereas the Manga Club has a lot of visuals, lots of gags, lots of us goofing on each other. And I'm tired. I should have never ran.
Yeah, don't do that.
You could have walked and then just cut it.
Pretty well-known
What?
fact
Oh,
that
I didn't
running
even think of that.
is shitty.
Is this gonna be a really weird running joke or what?
Eh.
I'm gonna drink to that one.
I was thinking like back when we were taking ourselves way too seriously at the start of Manga Club, kind of like the audio version will be a little bit more focused in terms of talking more strictly about.
Yeah, so to anyone who has ever watched the Orange episode, that was very much the birth of the Manga Club, but like I don't even consider that a Manga Club episode. What's that one, Will? How do you pronounce it? Haichi?
Harukonomachi.
That's the one. That one, although a very interesting manga, is a very boring episode to watch. But around the time we just start featuring panels, it like the Manga Club really picks up. So to revisit these mangas without just doing a whole episode on something we've already done, we get the podcast. And the podcast is just going to kind of run like in conjunction with the Manga Club here on YouTube. The Manga Club kind of is the priority. The podcast will be very secondary. As far as manga podcasts go, there's 2 that I kind of enjoy, but I think we can really fill that gap because I do find this to be a fun group. And the manga podcasts that are currently on Spotify and Apple are good, but they're not us. You know what I mean?
Probably more structured, where we're just kind of like, let's have fun with this.
Exactly. Also, the podcasts are going to have small crews that'll be changing each episode. They'll have everyone you see here on camera, and also Michael, who's not here today, and Charmy.
Outside Rob's house.
Yeah. You'll see him in the creepy corner. I'll edit it in
outside.
Here.
He doesn't come inside.
He stays outside with his iPad, getting Wi-Fi from his local McDonald's.
No, he can have my Wi-Fi. He just doesn't.
He's not allowed inside.
Come inside.
With that, we're also going to be expanding to social media, but we do not have the parameters of that all figured out yet, so stay tuned for that. And with that, enjoy the first episode of the JDTV Manga Podcast.
Welcome to the Manga Club Podcast, starring Jeff and Alyssa as your hosts.
The Manga Club Podcast coincides with the Manga Club series on YouTube, where we rate and review manga in a relaxed setting with friends. Search JDaddy TV, all one word, to find us.
And with that, let's get into today's episode.
And we are officially recording. Welcome to the JDaddy TV Manga Club Manga Podcast. And if you're listening to this and that's still the name, know that we failed in naming ourselves.
I like the fireworks. And that's the name when you go to click on it.
Exactly.
I mean, everyone loves an underdog story, right? Where you can just like see them gradually get better.
I like the fireworks.
Podcast is going to
That's
be.
100% what this is.
Oh yeah.
The J Daddy TV Manga Club Manga Podcast is a podcast that coincides with the Manga Club featured on the YouTube channel J Daddy TV. We will be reviewing every manga we reviewed in J Daddy TV in more of a short form podcast setting than we do on the YouTube series, which are typically hour-long episodes. In those YouTube series, we do favorite panels. Everyone gets chances to talk. It's more so friends hanging out on Zoom that we recorded and decided to share because the first 2 episodes we recorded seemed to be really fun.
Yeah, we had the whole discussion too about whether or not we just like take the audio from the earlier podcast or the Manga Club podcast into
and to slap them on Spotify.
on here.
But I think a shorter form, a shorter tight 15-20 minute podcast would be best.
That'd also be hard to do for like our later podcasts,
Which
or
is
later
straight
podcasts.
visuals.
Which is you need the images.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which
This is my
why
favorite
I-
panel. Someone listening to it. Oh yeah, that helps.
Yeah. Isn't this funny? And we all laugh for 5 seconds, and the listener's sitting there like, okay, can you
Yes,
describe the
please,
said
please.
panel?
Yeah.
Please fade, Missa. Also, I made the mistake of deleting all 30 files worth of audio.
Oof.
A room, so I
You
just
should
deleted
probably
the
get
folder.
like
I
an
have one.
external hard drive,
I
like a
didn't
big
even
one.
think of it because Alyssa
Oh.
saves absolutely everything she records, photos, outtakes, videos. She has things from when like she first started university, all on these hard drives, and I just throw computers away. I'm like, all right, I'm moving on with my life, and I'm gonna grow as a person by eliminating this. Today, the first manga we read as a manga club when it was originally just roommates at the very beginning of quarantine, getting wine drunk, and I happened to have 3 physical copies of both jumbo volumes of Orange. So me, my roommate Alyssa, and my roommate Talon, our previous roommate Talon, all decided to just read it and let's do a YouTube video on it. And that was kind of the birth of the manga club.
Yeah, it was like the pilot episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The chapter 0.
Yeah, I was gonna say chapter 0, or in the Orange's case, letter 0.
Yeah.
So, who can give a brief summary? Will, what is Orange about?
Orange is about a group of friends in their late 20s who get together to uncover a what do they call, time capsule?
Yeah.
Realizing that their one friend that isn't there because he died had committed suicide, and to deal with their lingering regrets over his death. I don't think it ever explains how, but they send letters back to the past.
Yeah,
The-
they explain like a warp hole or
Yeah, but they never explain like where
Black
it comes from or
holes.
like how exactly.
No, they make reference to the Bermuda Triangle, and I found that so odd
Oh, forgot about that.
Yeah.
for like no reason.
multiverse, Bermuda Triangle, DeLorean.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, not only did they like shoot these things in a hole that
But they
turned out
went
be
to
a
the-
black hole,
they-
but it went exactly
Exactly,
their
to
pa-
the
yeah.
right people. Like each person sends a letter to their past selves the day before the character who had died joined their school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Um,
also, it's only fair to warn, this podcast will be absolutely spoiler ridden.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I
There's
mean,
there's
there-
no way I can sit here and talk about Orange.
Or
And
any
not
manga
have-
really.
Yeah.
And
But-
like especially these first couple that we did where they were all short like mangas.
Yeah,
That we read the whole
we
thing.
we can cover the first 3 volumes of Naruto, or at least the first arc of Naruto, and not
Yeah.
really spoil anything while spoiling everything.
Yeah.
But for something like Orange, that's really contained to about 12 letters, chapters.
22.
How many?
22.
Oh, it's a little longer than I remember.
Mhm.
I know it's about a good 3-hour reading session.
Yeah.
Again, but it's not that bad in terms of there's a complete story there and not have to
Yeah.
commit to
Yeah. Like it was definitely the longest I think that we've read.
Like in a
in
single week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of hopped on. I was like, by the way, everyone read Orange, the whole thing. See ya.
'Cause, like- there were like hefty chapters, most of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like 30 to 50 pages.
So in Orange, we have our cast of friends that stars the main protagonist, which is a female named Naho Takemiya. I must say right off the hop, I don't speak Japanese and I'm horrible at giving it the proper pronunciation, but I will try my best.
That's all of us.
Second down the call sheet would be Suwa Haruto. Oh man, I'm just gonna go with the first one.
Hiroto?
Hiroto, sorry. And then Saku, Azusa, Keikaru, Chino, and Azusa. I don't know how to say that. Or did I say
Azusa.
that twice? Yeah,
Mhm.
Azusa. Yeah.
See, it's hard because like Naho would be her first name, but with Sua, Hiroto is his first name, even though he tells him to call him Sua.
Hmm.
So I think it's just because it's shorter.
Also, Orange has a 12 episode anime. Oh, that's where I got the 12 from. It's a 12 episode anime. No beach episode. I'm sorry. And it also has a live movie adaptation.
Which I've seen none of them all. Neither of them.
I've actually seen all of them. The movie came out in 2015, and at the time in 2015, I had this crush on this Japanese actress who's actually in Orange.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, well, now I gotta watch it.
She play the main character, or
No, she played Chino.
oh, nice.
She also played the underground student president in the live
Oof.
action Prison School. So that's where the
That
crush
explains
started.
why she plays Chino.
That's where the crush was born.
Sometimes we didn't do a prison. Oh, I guess because during the break month.
Yeah, I want to do one of
You
We'll
those.
get
act
there.
like that's not gonna come up at some
Oh
point.
no, I know we're gonna get there, 100%.
So when it comes to Orange, it starts off our main girl. I already forgot her name. Fuck.
Naho.
Naho.
Naho receives a letter. Her being late for school, she doesn't really read it until she gets to school. It's very typical in anime of first episode, first introduction to a new character who's joining the class. We get Keikaru. The letter says there's a new student that comes to school today. He's going to sit next to you. She just happens to read those first two lines. Sure enough, my name's Keikaru. Can you take a seat next to Naho? And she's like, oh, wow, that letter. What the hell? What is this? And she puts the letter away, which is almost too obvious of like a plot device of let's keep the story moving and make her a little ditzy, a little forgetful.
Yeah.
So down the line, it's later figured out that on that first day of school that his mother passed away and he should have gone home rather than walking home with the group of friends that he
Yeah, because
joined.
they invite him out, which she doesn't realize after the fact that it says don't invite him out.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're
then
like, oh, that's weird. This letter, why would I listen to that? Yeah. And then, yeah, invites him out. He comes out. Turns out Azura. Oh, man, I am so bad.
Azusa?
Azusa. Yeah, she. Her parents own a bake shop. They go get some baked goods. They have a good time. You kind of learn about the relationships between everyone. One dude's a nerd. One girl's a sporty girl. One girl's a bit of an airhead. You got all the types. You got the main protagonist who knows nothing, who's just quiet and shy and really is the reader in the world. Our boy Sua is big into sports.
the big soccer star.
Oh, damn it, I just banged my hand. That's good for the mic. Don't worry, I can edit all this out. Keikaru also can play sports, but doesn't currently join any of the clubs because it's only first day. And that's the first letter. That's the first episode. Really does a good job in sucking you in.
Yeah.
For me, this was the first manga as an adult that was almost like my reintroduction into manga. I was big as a teenager into reading manga. I follow Naruto, Shaman King, Bleach, all the stuff that had animes at the same time that also had mangas that releasing. I followed Beck, Mongolian, Chop Squad. And then I kind of just
A lot of the
stopped reading
Shonen
all
Jump.
manga. Yeah, all the Shonen Jump stuff, yeah. But I also read like the classics, Love Hina.
Did you ever actually read Lavina?
Oh yeah, I finished the whole thing when I was in like grade 10. But when it comes to Orange, yeah, a friend had it on her table when I walked in the door, and I was like, I'm gonna read this, whatever this is, because I just had like an hour to kill, and I ended up like, I'm gonna borrow this. There's a second volume, let me get that too. And I was a little sad when it ended. I felt kind of short because although like everything does conclude and it's very
You're not used to reading
satisfying.
something that's
Yeah, I kind of wanted, like, I was so sucked into reading manga again. I was like, no, I want more. I need more. What the hell is
you need your next yeah.
I think even towards the end it almost seems a little rushed because there's the reveal at the end that, oh, all the other friends have been also getting letters in terms of try to save, what's his face? Takeru. To try and save him. The first big one is obviously Naho. The second one was
Sua.
Sua.
And then the rest reveal all together, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like done kind of very quickly, and then there's conclusion towards the end, and then yeah.
Also, I kind of think the manga implies that the group actually like excluded Naho, being like, we have to let this love flourish very
Oh,
Yeah,
naturally.
because I think
Because Sue
I
was
think-
like, I think you should talk to the rest of the friends. And the rest of the friends are like, haha, bitch, look at all these letters we got. And she's like, oh, you guys.
Yeah.
I think the other three all knew. I don't know if Sua knew that everyone else also did. I
Isn't
would
he
have
the
to-
one who, but isn't he like the one who goes to Naho and is like, you got to talk to the rest of them?
maybe I can't remember. I never got that far in my
Yours-
skimming.
And you're re-skimming.
Yeah, I mean, this would be my third time reading it. I think
Yeah, it'd be like my.
because I only read the first time because you lent me the books.
Mhm.
And then again for the second time with the cast.
So while all this is going on, there's also a bunch of jumps to the future, 10 years into the future. And Kakeru died because he's not in the future. And they all have these regrets of, oh, Kakeru would have liked this. Kakeru would have enjoyed today.
Mm-hmm.
And then through the future, because even their future selves, it slowly gets revealed. The story of the future is told at the same time the story in the present's being told. They go to visit his grandma. They go to visit his shrine. Here's some flowers, and then it's slowly revealed. Yeah, he wanted to go see his mom. That doesn't make sense. Let's dig up the time capsule. Kakeru wrote letters to us and not to his future self. Did he know he was going to pass away?
Well, that
And
happened
it's-
first before the shrine or anything like that. The time capsule. The time capsule is the first thing they do.
Mm-hmm. No, there's
Yeah.
a time capsule that contains letters that they shoot back to themselves, but they read the time capsule later that had Kakeru's letter to all the group members.
Yeah, that's early.
Mm-hmm. And then through there, yeah, it's slowly revealed.
Yeah.
That
Because
was-
then they go to the grandma's house.
Yeah.
And then they get the like his phone or something.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it is.
And yeah, I think he's saying goodbye to his grandma or something. There's like a text or something.
Yeah.
And then later on in the future side of things, well, I guess like the future past, because there's the present and then there's the future time jump, but then there's the original past where he ends up taking his life. So
Mhm.
there's technically like 3 little timelines going on. So in the
But I think that one's just a single chapter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in that timeline, or I guess the original past of the future, it's revealed that his mother also took her life, and then he can't forgive himself because he didn't see this message that she was writing to him on her cell phone, but never it was able to hit send,
Mhm.
essentially apologizing for all her behavior and trying to control him and trying to keep him close to home kind of thing.
Yeah, and that leads him to wanting to see her.
Mhm. What takes him out of this world? Because it is interesting to know that he actually doesn't die technically when he commits suicide in that original timeline.
He tries to hang himself originally.
And then he gets isekai'd by
Yeah.
Truck-kun.
Yeah, Truck-kun.
Yeah, he goes on his bike, he rides directly into traffic, directly into a giant truck, and then he wakes up a slime
Yeah.
who has to train a dragon or something. I can't remember.
It's the weirdest sequel.
Yeah, he's a Keitaro, whatever the hell his name is in Sword Art Online.
Kirito.
Kirito, that's his goddamn name. Yeah, he gets hit by a truck and immediately is thrown into Digiworld, discovers Agumon. Turns out he's a Digidestin and he witnesses great.
No, he's probably just one of the characters in Angel Beats.
Is that also an isekai?
No, but the whole thing about Angel Beats is like the kids who died but like still have lingering
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah.
So
They're kind of in like purgatory. Yeah,
yeah,
super
Yeah.
cool show. Yeah, I know you recommended that. It was a pretty heartbreaking show.
Mhm. It just kind of it's all ha, it's funny, and then all of a sudden it's like what?
Yeah, 100%.
Like I think it's like the main, not like the girl they're kind of like getting hunted by / the love interest later on, but like the main girl in the beginning. When you find out her story, it's like this got like super dark out of nowhere. But aside from that,
With this one, you said that there was an additional kind of extra volume or bonus volume that had to be released because of heavy debate.
Because of some misconceptions around the storyline of the first 2 volumes, the artist had to release Orange Future, they called it. So now our main timeline people, like the present story we have,
Yeah.
them as adults. Because what happens is Sua ends up with Naho and they have a kid together, but because they saved the life of Keikaru, him and Naho fall in love with each other. So people were saying, hold on, did Sua not only cuck himself, but did he just prevent his own marriage to Naho and the birth of his child?
But I thought they say like pretty nicely that it's like, no, it's a branching timeline situation.
Thank you. Thank you. There was a whole debate on one of our earlier video.
Like it's pretty. It's in the early chapters because it's in some of the stuff that I've covered doing the skimming.
But a lot of the fans were not satisfied with that. A lot of people who watched the movie, who saw the anime, who read
This
the
would have
manga,
been pre.
Well, because I guess like at the end they probably like time skip to like where he's not dead, and they never show the original older
timeline
people.
continuing.
Yeah, so she fully had to release an extra volume called Orange Future, which
And what happens
really
in Orange Future?
fixes everything. So as the future progresses, her and Keikaru naturally grow apart. They become more friends as they mature. And then Sua the entire time is like, "Hey man, how come you guys aren't doing so well? You're not doing so hot. What's going on? Do you mind if I take a crack at her? Hey buddy, you mind if I talk to your girl? You mind if I talk to your little sweetie?" And Aho's like, "Sua, hold my hand." And they fall in love. The kid is still born. They still get married. And the author had to put out a thing like, "I cannot believe I had to write this. This should have been so obvious." They always end up together.
Oh, really?
Naho and Sua love cannot be matched by anything, including a kid who killed himself. So they still end up together. They still have a child. They still get married.
That's such a dumb thing.
Bit of a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like super fan servicey, and like I guess if there's enough people bitching about it.
Like I would understand it if they had more moments to get like in the manga.
Or it's like almost like a love triangle going on.
Yeah. Where like she was not, so like where she wasn't sure who she liked more.
The interesting thing about Orange Future as well, it's kind of told from the future perspective again of the adults having flashbacks. There's a lot of square panels. There's a lot of total blackout pages. There's a lot of more so remembering than anything. It is an interesting read, but it's told differently than Orange is, so it just also feels a little off. It's good for like unweaning you from the high that reading Orange gives you. It's like you gotta
back down.
You gotta get up to teeth, you know? It's like, hey, you got a group of friends. It was fun to hang out with these guys, but you got to carry on with your own life. And then she's like, Orange Future, I will wean you. Here's your formula, little baby. You're 2 months old. You can't be suckling at the titty. Come on.
Yeah,
2 months? I don't know how long baby feeding or breastfeeding is.
How long is breastfeeding going? Like a year? 8 months? A day? I don't know.
It can go longer depending on the kid and the mom.
But
6 years?
As a kid, I was given Orange Crush, so I don't get
it. Jeff liked his citrus.
Oh, God.
I like my orange. Alyssa, what would your favorite moment in Orange be? Is it a love moment, a comedic moment, a gentle moment?
I like the near misses all the time of like the romance that happens between Naho and
Keikaru. Being like, can I hold your hand? But he doesn't say, can I hold your hand? He just puts his hand out and she's like, what do you want?
Those are fun.
So I can make you a lunch. So, okay, I'm just kidding. Lunch comes around, like can't give it to him.
I'm too nervous.
Very much high school.
Yeah.
Super cute,
yeah.
But yeah.
There's the other part there too where again there's more of the reveal in the story that everyone has like these letters, and Naho is a little bit more subtle in how she tries to like change the timeline and being like, hey, you should do this instead. Hey, you should join this club.
Yeah.
And then there's do not play soccer today or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sporty Dude just like comes in super hard at some point. So like, no, you're doing this.
Yeah. Join the club, god damn it.
Yeah. So it turns out
your life depends on it.
A lot of the group members have like 2-page letters, 3-page letters, but Naho has an absolute novel.
Yeah, it's the whole journal.
Because
every day. But they don't end up together.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Today you're running a triathlon, but Kakeru hurts his ankle. You don't notice. Make sure you notice. Make sure you don't make him run. Tell him let's run.
This is where head canon trumps actual canon.
What's head canon?
You know what canon is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, head canon is like the canon that you think of.
Ah.
So like usually when something like gets left ambiguous,
Mhm.
you like make your own canon for it.
Oh,
So that's your
cool.
head canon.
I never knew that was a term. I just kind of thought that's how you interpret a story.
I like the fireworks.
You gotta go watch the fireworks. And for me, my favorite moment would be when things finally come to a head with Bully-chan, who is Keikuru's ex, and Azusa and Chino both stand up to her. And then I think it takes her threatening, like, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what I'm going to do. And she's like, okay, Jesus Christ, I'm backing down. Dude, you don't have to threaten me. And she's like, no, I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
Yeah. That's why my two favorite characters are Chino and the Nerd Kid.
And Alyssa, would you have a favorite character?
No, they're all kind of fun on their own, but they're obviously all great together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the dynamic.
And why is it called Orange?
Oh, there's a
little moment that
story
involves some
there.
orange juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first gift Keikuru ever gave Naho is a carton of orange juice.
Yeah, because
as thanks for making him the lunch.
Yeah, Naho is such like a passive character. Is always like whatever everybody else wants. I don't make it harder on you. Keikuru kind of goes in hard, like, no, what do you want? And then she finally caves and says orange juice. And that was like right before the reveal that they are into each other. But there again, there was that near miss moment.
Yeah. All right, let's start with William. If you had to rate this out of 10, what would you give it?
Definitely a solid 8.5, 9.
Alyssa, same question.
I would do like a 7 or 8.
And just for my emotional connection and the fact that it's my podcast, y'all can eat a wiener. 10 out of 10. Highly recommended. Read Orange forever. And with that, we conclude our JDaddy TV Manga Club Manga Podcast. Again, if this has the same name, know that we're not trying that hard. Please check us out on YouTube. The page is JDaddy TV, all one word, and our Manga Club is easy to spot by our distinctive thumbnails made by the great Alyssa, club member of Manga Club and our Manga Podcast. And with that, we conclude today's episode talking about Orange. I'm joined by Alyssa.
Hey.
William.
Bye.
And your host, Jeff. Thanks for checking us out. Like and subscribe.